Israel Pelham, and I would like to interview my father here because he owns a boat. So, Dad, what kind of boat do you have?
Well, currently I have a 2006 Stingray, 18.5 foot with an inboard-outboard engine. It's what's called a bow rider. It has a walk-through windshield, so it has two windshields in front you walk through, with a steering console on the right, and the inboard-outboard, also known as a stern drive, is kind of a small car engine that's in the back of the boat, and it's coupled to a propeller through a bottom half of an outboard motor.
Add-on question, how many seats does it have?
The boat can seat 7 people.
What do you do before you get on a boat?
But I like to look it over, make sure that I've got everything reattached to it. For example, there's a drain plug in back for water that gets into the bottom part of the boat. I make sure that's put back in. I will start the engine before I go out, before I even leave the house. I hate to get to all the way to the boat landing and try to start the engine and the battery's dead. But I usually have 6 or 7 life jackets already on the boat, so I can carry up to the maximum capacity of the boat. I'll remember things like having water on board or the like. I always have a throw cushion on board, and those are some of the things that are legally required.
What did you have to learn before you could drive a boat?
I was actually surprised, but if you're over the age of 16, you can just get on a boat and go. You don't have to, by law, learn anything. You have to obey the rules, the rules of the road, but you don't have to have a boating license. You don't have to go through a boating training course. I recommend to anybody to go through a safe boating course. The county and the state offer them free of charge. You can just go to them and take a safe boating course. They don't get you out on the water with that, but they teach you the rules of the road, what the lights mean as you're going up, what you should do if you come upon another boat in a different direction.
Okay, how old were you when you first drove a boat?
Geez, I think I was in my 20s when I first drove a boat over at my cousin's house. They live on they have a house on a lake up in New Hampshire, and I went up there in the summertime and drove their boat.
Normal question, when can I drive a boat?
You can drive it any time under my supervision. How close, in other words, are you holding the steering wheel like this, and do I have one hand on the side of it? Yeah, kind of, sort of, for the first thing. If we had a smaller boat, for example, if we had a boat with a small 10 horsepower outboard engine, I might let you drive that around. It's a pretty easy boat and pretty controllable boat for even a younger person to drive. But with a boat with a higher horsepower, it's a little more of a challenge.
How long have you been on a boat without any brakes? No brakes at all?
Do you know the answer to this?
No.
About 72 days.
Oh, yeah.
I was in the Navy at one time. I spent 6 years in the Navy, and I've been not only on a boat for more than 2 months without a break, I have been underwater for more than 2 months without a break. My job was normally in the engine room. The submarine is nuclear powered, nuclear operated. However, one time we had what's called a dependence cruise. It's when family are allowed to come and ride the submarine with you.
Sounds fun.
And it was interesting. My mom and dad actually came out from Connecticut for that opportunity, and we went out. And although it wasn't my normal job, they put my dad and me driving the boat at one point. So technically, before I made it to New Hampshire and drove my cousin's boat, I actually drove a nuclear submarine.
That sounds scary.
It is. It's I still remember the first time the submarine dove. It's kind of a different experience. You're underwater, and it's not for everybody. But I thought it was an adventure. Matter of fact, one of my favorite times though is when the submarine was on the surface. We were rarely on the surface. The submarine's place in the Navy is not on the surface. But We once transited a rather extended period of time on the surface, about 12 hours, and I spent quite a bit of that time up in the bridge, they call it, cruising along, looking out, enjoying myself.
How many boats have you owned in your whole entire life?
I told you about the 18 and a half Stingray. It's a runabout. It's a fun little boat. I also, hey, I don't normally count it, but if you count what boats I own, that paddle boat in the backyard
Sure.
is a boat. I have a canoe on a long-term loan. It's kind of sort of a gift, but I kind of consider it part mine and part my friend Jim Lee's. And I also have a little rowboat over at Sandy Island that I use on occasion. That was given to me. So just right now, I have 4 boats. Prior to this Stingray, I've owned 2 other runabouts. Another Stingray, a 16-foot Stingray, and then another 16-foot boat with both of those 2 had outboard motors.
If you could have any boat, what kind of boat would you have?
I'd certainly like a good fast kayak because it's great exercise and you can propel yourself along, especially with a good one because you can cover a lot of ground.
Okay, I think that concludes our interview. Do you have anything else you would like to say?
Not really, just have some fun, safe boating. I think Mark Twain said it best when there's no greater fun than just going out and playing around on boats.
All right, thank you so much for watching and have a great day.